Thanks for joining me. I hope it's not as hot as it is here where you are. It's about 32 degrees Celsius in my office and I have no air conditioning, so I might be looking a little warm. The saddest day in the Jewish calendar, that's my topic today. Although as Christians we're not obliged to study the Old Testament laws and to know the dates of their feast days, now that's a bad translation, it should be appointed times. It's nothing to do with feasts really. Most of us, however, as Christians are familiar with certain holy days, or Moadim as it is in Hebrew, on the Jewish calendar. We realise that although the world calls this year 2024, it's 5784 in the Jewish way of counting time. Now you might need to scroll down now, carry on listening to me please, don't turn me off, but scroll down and you'll find the chart that I posted. Looking at the present year, we know that in the Jewish year, in this particular one that I put here, there's 12 months. Sometimes for reasons I don't want to go into now, there are 13 months, but in this particular year I've posted. Number 1 month is Nisan, number 2 is Iyar, number 3 Sivan, number 4 is Tammuz, number 5 is Av, A-V, have you got it? Number 6 Elul, number 7 Tishri, number 8 Heshvan, number 9 Kislev, number 10 Tevet, number 11 Shevat, and number 12 Adar. Now those are all strange sounds to me, but they may be to you as well. On the Hebrew calendar, months follow the cycle of the moon, with the month starting with a new moon. Every month starts with a new moon. So the first month of the Hebrew calendar is Nisan. This is the religious calendar. There's a religious calendar and an administrative calendar. And the religious calendar starts with Nisan. And if you go through the months there of the religious year, Passover is on Nisan 14. That's mentioned in Exodus 12 and verse 6, when God told Moses to instruct the people to put blood on the doorposts and the lintel of the houses, and then the angel of death would pass over. Christ was crucified, you remember, at a Passover time. Now this year, Passover is on April, or was on April 22nd. Now, would this holy day be likely to be preceded by a week-long fast or mourning? Not really. I'm asking you in this, it's a bit of a puzzle for you to start with. What's the saddest part of the Hebrew calendar? Okay, Nisan and Passover is followed by unleavened bread, where sheaves of grain are ceremoniously waved. Not particularly a sad time. 50 days later is Punkot, or Pentecost, Shevat, on June the 11th to the 16th. Jews are not in mourning there. It's a celebration time of the harvest. And then, of course, you've got October the 3rd coming up. Now, that's the beginning of not the ceremonial year, but the administrative year, October the 3rd. It's called New Year, Rosh Hashanah, or the Feast of Trumpets. So Rosh Hashanah has not yet taken place, that's in October. Following Rosh Hashanah is the Day of Atonement, or Yom Kippur, on October the 11th to the 12th. It's a time of national repentance. Might give you a clue there, but it may not be the correct clue. After the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur, the Feast of Tabernacles, or Sukkot, October 16th to the 18th. That's a 7-day feast with Jewish families remembering that they lived in tents on their journey to the Promised Land. Now, all of the above are well observed times of reflection by the religious Jews. Mostly they're secular, but for those who follow the religious ceremonies, those are times of reflection or celebration, and none of those I mentioned there are times of mourning. So, here's a clue. The saddest day I've not mentioned in the whole calendar is in the month of Av, A-V. On the 12th to the 13th of August is the 9th day of Av, and in Hebrew it is Tisha B'Av. Now, why would the 9th day of Av be the saddest day in the Hebrew calendar? Which it is, I'm not making this up. This is a national day of holiday. And mostly because Jews worldwide mourn the destruction of both temples. Solomon's temple by Nebuchadnezzar's army in 586 BC on the 9th of Av, and then years later a second temple, the one that was commissioned by Cyrus, was destroyed in AD 70 by the Roman armies under Titus. They came into Jerusalem and tore down the temple also on the same date. So the 9th of Av, the first temple, Solomon's temple, and the second temple, they were both destroyed on the same day. Different years, but the same day. So the Jews remember this as part of a national holiday. Jewish law demands that during the 3 weeks preceding the 9th of Av, Jews limit their rejoicing. No weddings, no haircuts, no listening to music, no swimming. And in the last 9 days of the 3 weeks, no one is allowed to eat meat or drink wine, except on Shevat, or even wash clothes. Now, what's this got to do with now? At the time of writing, Iran and its proxies are planning to exterminate the nation of Israel. That's the present situation. The mullahs in Iran and the Jewish rabbis are aware that in past years, God's hand of protection has been lifted off Israel, and that may influence the decision about when Iran plans to attack. We'll know in a few days, but one thing is sure: God's eternal plans will prevail, but our prayers and righteous decrees and declarations can move his hand. Bear in mind that World War I started on the 9th of Av, and research shows that many different tragedies connected with the Jews happened on the 9th of Av. Jews were expelled from England and from Spain on that day. So let's seek the Lord and pray for Israel that on the 9th of Av in this year, 5784, will not be a time for his people to suffer the pain that the enemies are planning to inflict.